The shopkeeper greets Takaroo warmly as he steps inside. When he asks if she sells gathering scissors, she shakes her head. Introducing herself as Ribble, she explains that she can have a custom pair made for him instead. Her master, Grallas, is a highly skilled blacksmith, but good craftsmanship comes at a price. Curious, Takaroo asks to meet him, so Ribble leads him deeper into the workshop. Inside, several blacksmiths are hammering steel, and Ribble proudly says their passion is what drives her to improve. Soon, they reach Grallas' room. The dwarf initially questions who Takaroo is, but once Ribble mentions that he's the well-known gatherer people have been talking about around town, Grallas becomes interested. Ribble brings up the idea of having Takaroo gather a rare material called Idra ore for a special blade they hope to create for an upcoming sword tournament. Takaroo is unfamiliar with the ore, and Grallas is immediately against the idea. He refuses to send anyone, especially a young man like Takaroo, into the dangerous Ruhike mines, which are known to be overrun by demons. Ribble pushes the issue, but Grallas scolds her, saying that treating people's lives lightly means she'll never become a true blacksmith. He appreciates her determination, but he stands firm. Just as Ribble gives up, Takaroo steps forward and offers to retrieve the ore, if they agree to forge the gathering scissors he needs. To prove he can handle himself, he pulls out the claw of a B-rank monster crab he defeated. Grallas is stunned. Hearing that monsters are no problem for him, Grallas agrees to the deal. Later, Takaroo rides toward the mines with Bee, who is still dreaming about eating more crab meat. Other passengers whisper about the strange incidents surrounding the mines. After arriving, Takaroo spots a stable and thinks how nice it would be to have his own mount. Soon, he hears a familiar voice. The elf he previously met is arguing with a merchant over a large, fluffy bird she claims is not a horse. The merchant insists that any animal you can ride counts as a horse here. The elf eventually calms down, and he suggests she could find real horses near the dwarf kingdom. Since she is headed in the same direction, Takaroo prepares to gather materials with Bee. In the forest, he collects moonlight grass and decides the trip is worthwhile. Then he hears a loud rumble and finds the elf collapsed from hunger again. He shares food and water, wondering why she always ends up in such sorry condition. As she stands, Takaroo catches a whiff of her odor and quickly casts a cleaning spell. She is stunned, then delighted to finally feel clean. Takaroo admits he just didn't want to ruin his image of elves as graceful and pure. She introduces herself as Vel Brolite, though the full name is too long for him, so he simply calls her Brolite. She insists on repaying him, even when he tries to brush it off. Bee is also happy to have a new companion, so Takaroo eventually accepts her company. As Takaroo resumes gathering, Bee and Brolite eagerly bring him what they believe are valuable monster droppings, only for him to explain they are just ordinary rocks. He realizes Brolite may not be the sharpest tool in the shed. Later, as the sun begins to set, Brolite mentions building a campfire. Takaroo says he has magic stones, but she explains that leaving campfire traces helps other adventurers know the area is safe. She then hauls back a massive log, throws it in the air, and slices it neatly to pieces with her daggers. When Brolite lands gracefully back on the ground, Takaroo is amazed by her raw strength and decides to inspect her daggers. He's stunned to discover that the blades are actually ranked artifacts, something extremely valuable. This makes him realize that Brolite must come from a prestigious elven family. Later, Takaroo cooks dinner using the firewood she gathered. As soon as Brolite tastes the food, her eyes light up and she compliments his cooking over and over again. To Takaroo, her reaction seems a bit dramatic, especially as she tries speaking with her mouth full, so he gently reminds her to swallow before talking. While eating, she asks if he's headed to the mines. He says yes and asks about her plans. Brolite explains she's searching for a rare white Pegasus as a gift for her younger sister, Ludicara. Then she suddenly realizes he has fed her yet again without asking for anything in return. So Takaroo suggests something. She could be his bodyguard. She asks what the job involves, and he explains he just wants to learn basic survival skills from her. Brolite wonders if that's truly all he wants, but he simply nods. Believing fate brought them together twice, she agrees to work as his bodyguard. However, Takaroo soon regrets the decision. Just half an hour later, Brolight and Bee are snoring so loudly that he can't sleep. The next morning, Brolight leads Takaroo to a bridge that crosses into the dwarf kingdom. Once inside the dwarven city, the first thing they do is look for food. They pick a restaurant where the waitress proudly serves them freshly cooked meat rolls. Takaroo enjoys the taste, and Brolight says the food is just as good as her friend once recommended. This makes Takaroo curious, so she tells him her friend is a lizard man. Thinking of his own lizardman friend, Klay, he says he knows one too. Brolight proudly mentions that her friend received the prestigious title of Holy Dragon Knight from the Stalfa Empire. Realizing they must be talking about the same person, Takaroo is shocked when Klay suddenly speaks from the table beside them. Klay complains that Takaroo left town without saying goodbye. Takaroo claims he told the guild, but Klay calls him out for neglecting to tell him personally. When Klay learns that Takaroo is planning to enter the dangerous Ruhike mines, he's surprised that a low-ranked adventurer would attempt such a risky task. Takaroo says it's worth the risk if he can get a pair of high-quality scissors from a master blacksmith. Klay is dumbfounded by how modest his goal is, but eventually he decides to join them. Brolight excitedly asks Klay if he plans to become Takaroo's second bodyguard. Once Klay hears that Brolight is already filling the role, he agrees to be her partner on the journey. The odd trio locks hands in celebration, while Takaroo silently wonders why he keeps making decisions he'll probably regret. The group sets out for the Dwarven Kingdom the following day. When the border guard sees Klay, he immediately grants them entry, surprising Takaroo and Brolight. Klay explains that he has an influential friend here, and the guard leads them down a long staircase. When they reach the bottom, the group is stunned to see a massive city built entirely underground. The guard then informs Klay that the Dwarf King has been searching for him. This shocks Takaroo, since Klay always acts like he has no connection to dwarves. But the guard explains that Klay is actually considered a hero in the Dwarven Kingdom. Long ago, an evil demon ruled over the dwarves. When Klay passed through, the demon was so terrified of him that it ran away, which caused the dwarves to praise Klay as their savior. Soon, they enter the royal palace. Klay casually scolds the king for being overly formal, and Brolight notices how close the two seem. Takaroo steps forward to introduce himself, but the king tells him to speak freely. So, Takaroo presents the letter of recommendation from Grallas and requests permission to explore the Ruhike mines. The king warns them the mines have become dangerous due to recent demon activity, but Takaroo insists he is prepared. Klay promises to protect him, and Brolight also declares that she will guard him with her strength. With their assurance, the king approves the request, and even asks them to investigate the cause of the demonic presence. Despite not wanting to take on extra tasks, Takaroo gets dragged into the mission. They soon arrive at the entrance to the mines, where the Dwarven Guild guide, Zambo, greets them. He leads them inside. Once the gate is opened, Brolight comments on how dark it is, so Takaroo uses a light spell to brighten the tunnel. He then copies the map Zambo gave him, surprising everyone with his skill. Hoping to find valuable ore, Takaroo activates his search ability, but only detects common iron nearby. Suddenly, Bee senses something approaching. Takaroo casts a detection spell and spots glowing eyes in the darkness. A swarm of demon spiders crawls out. Klay quickly pierces the first one with his spear, while Takaroo slows another with a time-slowing spell, allowing Brolight to tear it apart. She celebrates enthusiastically afterward. When they reach a lower floor, Takaroo senses a rare ore nearby, but there is a solid wall blocking the way. He asks Zambo for permission to dig, then blasts the wall apart with a volley of fireballs, revealing a huge vein of high-quality Ildrite ore. Takaroo is disappointed at first because it's not the Idra ore he was searching for, but Zambo shouts in disbelief, explaining that Ildrite is actually even more expensive. While scanning the area, Takaroo wonders if the ore develops so well because of the unique energies in the mines. Suddenly, Bee warns him again. Heavy footsteps echo toward them. Zambo panics. Demons have located their group. Takaroo steps forward and tells Klay and Brolight to stand back. When the creature finally appears, its massive crab-like body becomes visible. Takaroo and Bee immediately get excited because it means more delicious monster crab meat. That concludes episode 5. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next part, and go ahead and watch the next episode. Seeing Takaroo and Bee joking around about eating the monster, Klay steps in and tells them to focus. He warns them that this crab is a high-rank monster, so they shouldn't take it lightly. But Takaroo insists on handling it himself. As the creature charges at them, he asks Bee to support him while he moves in. Takaroo casts a quick hardening spell to boost his body, then rushes toward the crab. Klay and Brolight worry that he'll get eaten, but Bee sends out a loud sonic wave that stuns the monster just in time. Takaroo uses that opening to leap forward and strike the crab's head with his staff, but the crab throws him off with its pincer. He barely dodges the next attack before Bee freezes one of the crab's legs to slow it down. With the crab's movement restricted, Takaroo uses a scan spell to locate its weak points. Once he finds them, he summons numerous ice needles and fires them into the weak spots. The needles spread cold through its shell and freeze the entire creature solid, turning it into an ice sculpture. As Takaroo gives a moment of respect to the fallen monster, Klay questions why he fought alone when he has a team with him. Takaroo apologizes and explains he was afraid they'd hit too hard and ruin the meat. Klay is surprised he was planning to cook the monster from the beginning, but reminds him that he's supposed to work with a group. He tells Takaroo not to get carried away and to rely on the team for safety. Takaroo accepts his mistake and apologizes. Klay pats him on the shoulder and tells him to gather the crab meat. Takaroo collects the meat and also gathers the magic ore in the area. Noticing even more valuable resources nearby, he tells Zambo that the dwarves can mine it later. Zambo gets emotional and thanks him. Takaroo wonders if he's finally bringing about the change the space manager talked about. As Klay and Brolight start heading back, Takaroo decides he'll continue acting for the good of the people around him. Back at the dwarf city, Takaroo reports that the monster is defeated. The king is shocked, and Zambo confirms it. When asked to show proof, Takaroo places the giant frozen crab right in the middle of the hall, shaking the room. The king praises his work and offers a reward, but Takaroo simply requests to take the crab body home. The king agrees. On the way back, Brolight happily points out that they still received 3 million raves as a quest reward. But Takaroo isn't thinking about money. He's already imagining the delicious sashimi he'll make. Klay even pokes him for drooling and thinking about crafting tools from the crab's shell. The next day, Brolight receives a beautiful white horse from the dwarf king, while Klay gets his repaired spear. Brolight climbs onto the horse, ready to return to her sister. Takaroo asks if she's leaving, and she nods, saying she could never repay him for everything. He tells her there's no need. Klay mentions their carriage has arrived. Brolight takes off into the sky on her new horse and leaves. Takaroo and Klay travel back home by carriage. When they arrive at the guild, Takaroo notices Ariana putting up new quest slips on the board. She greets them, and seeing the two together, assumes they've officially formed a party. Klay clarifies that they're only working together for now and haven't split up yet. Hearing this, Ariana gets overly excited and practically hops away to report the news to the guildmaster. After she leaves, Takaroo asks why Klay is sticking by him. The lizardman explains that even though he knows Takaroo is unusual and incredibly powerful, he simply wants to stay and see what he can really do. Takaroo feels uneasy about letting someone so close to his secrets, but he trusts Klay enough to work with him. Eventually, they decide to form an official party and choose the name Azure Ebony. Later, Takaroo brings some high-grade Ildrite to Grala's. The dwarf starts trembling while holding the ore, which makes Takaroo worry. He thinks maybe the quality is too high for them to handle. But instead, Gralaz and Ribble burst into happy tears. Ribble thanks Takaroo with all her heart, and Gralaz says he hasn't seen Ildrite this pure in more than a century. Takaroo is relieved. They're not disappointed at all. However, Ribble explains they can't afford to pay for such precious ore. Takaroo tells her not to worry. Just making the gathering scissors is enough. But for now, he asks them to prioritize forging their competition sword. 1 month later, Guildmaster Wade brings Takaroo a letter. Klay sees the seal and recognizes it. It's from the Lukubak family, the same family that governs the entire region, including Belka City. Takaroo instantly feels like dealing with a high-ranking noble will be a hassle and jokes about getting a stomachache to avoid going. But Wade assures him that Lord Belminant, the city lord, is actually very reasonable. When Takaroo finally reads the letter, he learns that Lord Belminant wants to reward Klay's team for their performance at the Stav Plains. Klay is surprised that he's the reason for the invitation, but Takaroo suspects the Lord is mainly interested in him. Klay agrees, thinking the Lord probably wants to see Bee, the baby dragon. Takaroo immediately gets protective, but Wade reassures him that nothing like that will happen. Klay also says he would leave Belka without hesitation if the Lord tried anything shady, so Takaroo decides to trust them and go. Soon after, they ride to the Lord's mansion in a luxurious carriage. As they pass through town, people stare in awe. Few ever get the chance to see anything connected to a noble of such high rank. Klay explains that receiving support from the city lord can instantly elevate someone's status, regardless of strength. When they finally arrive, Takaroo looks out the window and is stunned. The mansion is less of a home and more of a grand castle, far more extravagant than he ever expected. After stepping down from the carriage, a butler named Raymond greets Takaroo and Klay and escorts them inside. As they enter, rows of maids line up to show respect. But before they can go any further, a young girl suddenly rushes over to Takaroo. She stares at Bee, says he looks funny, and immediately demands that Takaroo hand the baby dragon over to her. Takaroo refuses, and the girl looks baffled. She insists that dragons are noble beings, and since she's a noble, she naturally deserves one. Klay recognizes her and quietly tells Takaroo that the girl's name is Tuss, the daughter of the city lord. Takaroo uses a scan and confirms it. Unsure of how to deal with her, he kneels down to her level, surprising her. He calmly asks why she thought she could take Bee. Tuss explains that someone named Bernard told her about the dragon and told her to be stubborn if she wanted to claim him. Takaroo tells her directly that Bee is family, and he doesn't just give away family members. Tuss calls Bee's name, and Bee politely greets her, shocking her even more. Takaroo explains that Bee understands and communicates well. Realizing she had been rude, Tuss becomes embarrassed and apologizes for her behavior. Bee forgives her. When Takaroo asks why she wanted a dragon so badly, Tuss begins to tear up, saying it's because of her mother. Before she can continue, Lord Belminant enters. Takaroo is surprised to see that the city lord is young and handsome, despite having a teenage daughter. Belminant politely introduces himself and invites Takaroo and Klay to a private room. There, Belminant apologizes for Tuss's behavior. Klay then asks why they were summoned. Belminant explains that his wife, Militia, has been bedridden for the past 6 months. He heard rumors that Takaroo cured a supposedly incurable illness in the slums, so he brought him here to ask for help. Takaroo realizes his actions caused those rumors to spread, and Belminant earnestly begs for his assistance. Belminant also explains that Tuss wanted a baby dragon because she will soon be attending school in the capital, and she wanted something to keep her mother company while she's gone. Klay becomes emotional, and his look at Takaroo makes it clear he expects him to help. Takaroo agrees but is nervous. He knows his healing abilities are powerful and doesn't want to accidentally harm someone. They are taken to Lady Militia's room. The room is kept dark, and Takaroo immediately notices how suffocating the air feels. When she speaks, it's clear how weak she has become. Takaroo asks if they can bring in light, but Belminant explains that sunlight worsens her condition. Takaroo approaches and uses his scan to examine her. He determines he can treat her joint pain and symptoms, but one condition confuses him: Ivor poisoning, a disease he has never heard of. Klay can tell something is troubling him. Takaroo tells Belminant he needs complete trust before beginning treatment. Militia then quietly says she doesn't need a full recovery. She just wants enough strength to hold her daughter again. Her words break Belminant's composure, and he begs Takaroo to help her. Takaroo nods and prepares to begin the treatment.